Hi everybody, John Senior here, and welcome to this next round of first round matches for FunkyThinkers Season 1 end of season playoffs. Now, the big hitters are starting to come out now from the regular season. We've got number 6 seed, Bryan Falchuk, author, speaker. Not triathlete yet, are you?
No, not yet. Still can't swim.
Yeah, still can't. I can't either. And number 7 seed, Leana Delle, who is a Tedx speaker and author of Control Switch, right, which is a novel.
Correct, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. So what happens today is you get to go first, Leana, because you scored the least number of points in the regular season. So I think it's an advantage to go second. So the first question, you go first.
A new board.
New board, oh yes.
Yeah,
The pictures.
funky. Very funky. Okay, yeah. I'm going to take the second box with all the funky colors.
What are you interested in that most people aren't?
Goodness, that's a tough question. What am I interested in that most
playoffs.
people...
Leana, it's playoffs. You've got he's deadly serious. We want to win.
The pressure. Anything funky. How's that?
What are you interested in that most people aren't? How many books do you read a day, a week, a month?
In a day? No, actually, I don't really. I really like independent music. How's that? Like, I like really obscure. I listen to absolutely anything except rap. Like rap, I can do rap. It just depends. I just can't do too much of it at once because I get.
If we've got any independent music people that are listening, we want to find out how music kind of survives in the age of YouTube and mainstream stuff. Is that what you mean? Independent by independent?
Yeah, I like to listen to really like radio stations that don't play the top 40. I tend to go to stuff that people don't listen to. I rhyme off artists a lot and people say, no, don't know him.
Don't know him. Right, okay, time up. That's your lot. Bryan, what are you interested in that most people aren't?
Insurance. See, I win. That's my professional background outside of like my speaking and off my books and everything. Although I am working on a book about insurance, which was always my joke when people would be like, what's your next book about? I'm like, insurance. And they'd all laugh, but now it actually is. Yeah, that's my professional background. So that's like my Clark Kent.
Tell us the most interesting thing about insurance, and you got half a minute.
Well, so I ran claims for an insurer for a number of years, and it's a British insurance company, but for their U.S. business. The claims are really interesting, and some of the claims that we saw were just crazy. And there's one where this guy, it was a crime claim, this guy who was like the financial guy at a logistics company for the cruise line industry, had faked invoices over Christmas holiday when lots of boats were going out. Yeah. So he would send out the invoices, get paid to his fake company, and tried to make off with like millions of dollars. Crazy story.
Recently, I read, North Americans probably not familiar with FIFA, the downfall of FIFA. And one of them, he made an insurance claim for $250,000 US that he lost in a suitcase. Now, what is worth $250,000 US that he'd taken in a suitcase? Answer, $250,000 US. I mean, these were like real life gangsters almost.
My God,
good book. I'll put that in the show notes. Bryan, you get to go first. Question 2.
Let's take the scene from the Thames, the third one there.
Westminster Bridge, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. If you had a magic wand, what would you wish for and why?
I would wish for a different body. Yeah. And I just had coffee with someone and I was relating the story of the 15 surgeries I've had. So if that doesn't answer why, just lots of little issues, and it would just be really nice not to have to think about that. So yeah, I would wish for a different body. And that's, you know what, that's super egotistical. I should wish to like end the fires in Australia or world peace rather than just my knees not hurting.
Well, that's not
wasn't that pathetic of me?
No, well,
it's very American. I'll leave it to the Canadian in the meeting to do better. Well, wow, I'm a terrible person.
No, what, because you want a healthy body? No, I don't think so.
Well, so if my body hurts less, I could go to Australia and help fight the fight.
Yeah.
That's what I meant, actually.
Yeah, that's what you meant. Yeah.
There, nice.
Wow.
That's nice. On that note, let's move along quick.
Yeah.
Being the Canadian in the room, Leana's going to tell us what her magic wand is going to wish for.
I'd end world hunger.
Show me up. Yeah. Well, the good news is I'll be around long enough with this better body to partake in the food that you've provided.
Yeah. And as soon as everybody's fed, I'll fix your knee. That's
how are you going to do it then? What's the plan? Because nobody's figured this out in the last couple hundred years. How are you going to do it?
Well, it's a magic wand, Jonathan. What is
Yeah.
that?
Okay. Yeah.
Seriously,
okay.
all I have to do
She's
is
going to wave it.
Yeah.
It's all in the wrist action. It's all in the way you wave it.
I think it's the wrist action. It's also where you would stand. Where are you going to stand to do that? You've got to stand somewhere good.
I have to stand on something. I have to be up really high. And I'm
You
going to
would.
wear a really flashy, flowing gown.
You would. I mean, you wouldn't go down the supermarket and say, I'm going to say world hunger. And they go, yeah, all right, that's 227, please. You wouldn't do that, would you? I don't know.
What? Stand on a podium? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, of course you would.
Of course I would.
Go first this time. Leana, I think.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the roller skates.
What's the worst hairstyle you've ever had?
The 80s perm. Give me a break. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm not going to share it. So my background is nursing. I was a nurse for many years, and I have this picture from graduation with this hair and a cap. And it's just foul. It's just the worst thing I've ever seen.
We watched something on Netflix, and as soon as the woman came on, she got the big hair and the big shoulder pads, and it almost like
80s.
dates when it comes from the era.
I know. When I live in Dallas now, so big hair, I could probably get away with it.
You certainly could, yeah.
And everybody, even the guys, were getting perms. My boyfriend had a perm at the time.
Oh.
Everybody.
Well,
Had a perm. It was sad.
Leanna, Bryan, nobody else is listening, but I had a perm once.
Of course you did. Everybody did.
There was a football or soccer player called Chris Waddle, and he had kind of like the long mullet, and I wanted to be him.
Of course.
Bryan, what's the worst hairstyle you've ever had?
It's a tie, if I can. So one is where you said mullet. I wanted a mullet in the 80s, and my barber didn't understand, and I ended up with a tail, which is not it's not the look. So there was that, and that only lasted till I got home, and my brother cut it off, which is the nicest thing he's ever done for me in my life. He had a mullet. And then the other is for charity, I shaved my head into a mohawk. I ran a car club, and I said, if they raised this $8,000 we were trying to raise, I'd do a mohawk for this event we did. The problem is the event was outdoors, and it was the summer. And so I got a white strip down the middle of my head and red down the sides, and I shaved it off and went to work that way. So I still kind of had a mohawk. It was just a sunburn mohawk, which goes really well in insurance.
I've just got a story about that. I have a family member cut my hair. I once had, it was a bit longer than this, and she cut it, kind of didn't put the guard on the clippers. So the first bit went up the back, and like I'd had an operation right on the back. Right, next question. Who's to go first this time?
That's me.
Is it Bryan? Right, okay.
Yeah. I'm bummed that we didn't do that colorful shoe. So let's go with the yellow submarine, which I feel like is the closest thing we could do.
Submarine. What's the most expensive thing you've broken?
Because I'm in insurance, so I'm very careful about everything. I did almost break the entire Boston Red Sox broadcast.
Good.
Does that count?
Yeah, how did you do that?
Yeah, so I was working at the insurance company that sponsors the Red Sox, or did back in the day, and we got into the broadcasting booth, and I was very conscious of being in the way, so I kept sort of backing up. And I backed up against what ended up just being a cordless phone on the wall, but it crashed down and batteries and plastic scattered everywhere. And I was like, oh God, I've just taken a Major League Baseball team off the air. It was just their phone.
So you panicked for that split second. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. And one of the C-suite executives in the company was there. It was a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm like, I've either broken the baseball team or my career, one of the two, or just cost them a lot more for their sponsorship. But yeah, all was well in the end. Panasonic or whoever probably sold another cordless phone the next day.
Yeah. Leanna, you got the yellow submarine, which is what the most expensive thing you've ever broken?
I don't know if you can, I can't think of anything that I've actually broken that was expensive, but I can think of something that I damaged that was
That's
expensive.
good, yeah, we'll have that, yeah.
I got my driver's license the very first day that I got my driver's license. My dad let me take his car because he had a truck for work, and it was white. It was this real nice, beautiful little white car, and I drove it down a freshly tarred road.
Oh.
And all the tar spitted up the sides.
Yeah, I was almost broken as a result when it was done. Boy, did I ever hear it. Oh, it was not good. It was all up the sides. And of course, I wasn't driving slow because,
Yeah,
why would I do that?
Yeah, you know how to drive, yeah.
Yeah, I still hear about it.
Well, I imagine you do, yeah.
I still hear about that car.
You were just rust-proofing his car. Why didn't he appreciate it?
Yeah.
Man, I like
People
the way
pay
you
money for that kind of, People will pay money for that kind of undercarriage coating.
Right? I wish you'd been there then.
First this time, Leana, question 5.
I'm going to go with boombox.
The ghetto blaster, yeah. Do you think aliens exist?
Yes.
Because?
I just think it's pompous of us to think we're the only ones. It just makes no sense to me. I mean, it's a vast, infinite universe. There have got to be aliens out there, and I'm all for meeting them. Like, come on down. I'm ready. People always said this whole, I don't know, I'd be terrified. I actually have a friend who will say, I can't even hear this. I can't even hear this because she just freaks out about the whole concept of it.
I think that. I think it's very self-centered to think that we're the only people here.
Absolutely. I totally agree. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous concept.
And it's almost like that the Europeans thought that they were the centre of the world when the Aborigines had been in Australia for 30,000 years or whatever. That's it. It's the same thing, right? It's just a long way away. But I don't know what aliens are going to look like. They'll probably not look like us.
Probably
They'll
not.
probably be either thousands of years behind us or thousands of years in front of us.
Yeah, they probably think we're weird.
Yeah, well, listen to this show. They definitely think we're weird.
Especially if we have these haircuts we're all talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring those back if they come.
Brian, you got the same question, which is, do you think aliens exist?
Well, I'm so tempted to make a joke about illegal aliens in the U.S., but I'm not going political. Okay, do I think aliens exist? Yeah, I mean, I think for the same reasons. I think there's a lot of science at play with whether they would and where would they be and how would they be and all that, because there's a very, like, my son was like, what if Earth moved like 2 miles in its orbit? And I was like, well, we may all die. It's like you think about exactly what it takes, but of course then maybe they have different criteria for life and what they can survive in. But yeah, it'd be super interesting. Slight little tweaks, and could we all survive? And of course, could we survive where they survive, and vice versa? Do I think they're coming down here and probing us? I don't know. I hope not. That doesn't sound good.
The interesting thing for me is when they don't look for aliens, right? They look for patterns in the rock, which indicates that water has flowed, right?
That because life could be, Yeah,
you got the seaside and the tide goes out, it leaves traces, right? So,
I think the movie Stargate, the original one, that's a really interesting idea, that the whole Egyptian society was about aliens, not about a true God that they believed in. The God was just an alien. Yeah, it's neat stuff. It'd be really interesting to see.
We had Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which was a series of novels.
Yes.
Show. Do you know that?
I sure do.
Well, the mice ruled the world, and everybody there was just for their kind of amusement.
There's all kinds of philosophical debates that get in here, and then
let's move on. Right. So I should have said at the outset, if you listen to this on a bus or a train or wherever you're listening to it, to get a pencil and paper handy. Well, you hopefully have got that now, and you can vote for who you think should go through to the next round. And I don't know who you're playing yet, but Leanna's pointing to herself, and it's just for fun. There's no serious about it. Who gave you the biggest insight, the biggest aha, the biggest, oh yeah, that's what I never realised that. You can vote for Leana at FunkyThinkers.com or Bryan at FunkyThinkers.com. Send one email with something like vote or something in the subject line. You'll get an acknowledgement. You don't get on a list or anything dorky like that. That's how to vote. Leana, thank you so much for being on. How can we contact you and find out more about you?
My website is leanadelle.com, and everything I do is on there. And you can contact me through that site.
Fantastic. And I'm going to say, Bryan, you're bryanfalchuk.com, right?
Yeah, and it's Bryan with a Y. So when you vote, Bryan is not spelled Leana. It's Bryan. And of course, Leana is spelled Bryan also. So we made it really easy. That's so American of me, just going back to all that.
Yeah, it's the Canadian in you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Leanna's Canadian, so she won't mind. Well, they're just nice.
I'll probably apologize.
Yeah. Well, Well, now listen, you've got to vote. You got to vote for Leana at FunkyThinkers.com or Bryan at FunkyThinkers.com. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
That was funky fun.
Funky fun.
Hi, thanks so much for making it to the end of this episode. If you've enjoyed it, please share it with your friends. I have a few people you might want to share it with. Your partner, your parents, your grandma and granddad, your neighbours, your hairdresser, your tea lady, your gym instructor, your swimming coach, postman, the bin man, your cat, your dog, Father Christmas, Mr. Trump, Mr. Putin, Cristiano Ronaldo.